So I just did a midweek on this, but it was basically how I'm estimating jobs and what your process looks like. If you haven't listened to my midweek last week, I just did dive into this a lot. So I could briefly go into it, but it might be more beneficial if you talk about what your estimating process looks like.
It's funny. I'm actually writing this out from my head. Like I would the other day, I was like, I need to write out the entire process from when someone calls me all the way to construction. And it's funny when you have that train of thought, how in depth you get. Because
Oh my God.
I'm on page 4 right now, and we haven't even decided if they're a good fit.
And
And I'm
I
like,
think
man,
that's also why you don't do it because it's
yeah.
so involved and it's so different. Like to create standards for it is very difficult.
I was like, I just need to get this. Like, obviously, with the age of AI and everything, it's like there's this desire to just fast track this information. But I'm like, no, I need to actually sit down and write this out because there's so much trapped in my head. So our process in estimating jobs, I know you want to keep this concise. So when we're on the phone with someone, we're getting right to figuring out if they're a good fit. Let's just assume that they're a good fit, right? So our ideal client, someone that wants to build something between $3 and $10 million. Our average cost for, let's just say it's a new construction home. Our average cost for a new construction home is $1,000 a foot. Our minimum is probably 700, and obviously it can go anywhere above that. They're looking to do something that is architecturally led. They're and then location wise, like right now we're within 2 hours of Boston, but there's opportunities above and beyond that. So when we're estimating, we're getting a pre-construction agreement, but I want to kind of sidetrack for a minute. There's times where we are presented an opportunity where it's like, hey, this is a really unique project. This is a great architect, and they want to get preliminary pricing from more than one builder. It's not our ideal situation. We advocate against that. We pitch them on pre-construction, but there's times where it's like, you know what? I'll throw my hat in the ring because this seems like it's worth chasing. For me, that's 2 to 4 hours worth of work with as much information as they've given me. Hopefully it's not a CD set because then it's going to take weeks to put together, but assume that it's just high level. And I'm going to go through, we have a really, really in-depth spreadsheet. There's like 15 to 1800 line items. So I just build the project like line item by line item and top down and basically just kind of do it from memory, do it from historical data, do it from comparing it to other projects, whatever it takes to get a roughed out budget. And I might share that at that point, but I'm always presenting that, especially if there's no pre-construction, I'm always sharing that live. And then I'll follow up with like, here's the PDF for it. But I want to walk through it specifically because, what like the things I've made assumptions on or the expectations, I want to make sure they're aligned.
Are you just taking the plans and then going through your line items in the order of the line items and just assessing and gauging the job that way?
Yeah, so I'm doing one right now. So we have six plans. They are all floor plans. So it's just, I'm sorry,
Very,
five because there's 5 floors. It's very, very high level, but
yeah.
there's a bunch of notes on them. So my process, I have those drawings opened up.
Are
I
we
have,
just going to glaze over the fact that you're looking at a job that has 5 floors and is it commercial?
no, it's a row house in Boston. So that's pretty pretty typical. It's like I didn't think of how ridiculous that would sound if it's like, wait, is this a single family home? It is a
Yeah.
single family home, but
It's a
it's
tall house.
a row house. Um, so so we have the drawings. My process, I have like a couple screens on my desk. I have one screen open and I just keep I keep it open in my takeoff software. So we use Stack and it's like on screen takeoff. I'm using it like an elementary school kid. Like I don't have anything built out. There's so
Yeah.
much automation I can do, but I haven't done it. So I just have it there so I can measure things. I can get square footage of things. I can understand like, scale of things. And then I usually have either a printed set or my iPad and I have the drawings there so I can write and sketch things and highlight things and just like flip back and forth. It's easier than on Stack. And then I have my main sheet which is the Excel file, which is 16 divisions broken out to line items. And I just go right down, from the top down. And, the top is like all the gross square footage, like how long the project's going to take, what's your supervision look like, what's your general conditions. And then you get into all the scope. But I'll look at these drawings and I'll take all the notes. So right now I went sheet by sheet. So like for the first sheet, it talks about the basement and there's a couple plant notes on there. So it will say like re-waterproof the front wall. Okay. So I'm going to jump to those sections and I'm going to add those notes. Hey, waterproof the front wall in the basement. So that way I'm not having to look at the plan for all those notes. I build all those notes into the estimate first. Hey, add alternates, like do an add alternate for, repainting the entire garage. Okay. Put that in my add alternate section. So I'll extract as much data out of that as I can. Now, from there, then I go back to the top and I just start filling in and saying, all right, is there concrete work? Nope, there's no concrete work. Collapse that section. Is there masonry? But yeah, they want to repoint the front and back. All right, do I have a price for that? Or have I done a project similar? Oh, I have. We're actually doing one down the street. The front of it was 17,000. The back of it was 15,000. Let's plug those numbers in. And line by line by line. And then eventually I'll get to the bottom and I already know what they want to spend. So this right now is our gauge as to whether or not what they're asking for from the architecture is going to fit with what it's going to cost.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of things to know. What you're doing now is high level preliminary, and you're more, and I'm speaking for you, but you're going to be going through that multiple times. That's not just like, all right, I went through this once, I'm done. You're going to constantly be refining that as you progress, as detail change. And then 2, people want this silver bullet. They want it to be quick. They want to automate this entire process. Like you said, there's ways to automate that. I find that, yeah, automation can get you to a certain point, but at the end of the day, you are guessing at all of this stuff. And there's no way to, I'm looking at yesterday, I'm measuring for trim to trim out this screened-in porch, and it's all columns. And I'm like, how much PVC do I need? And I'm going through, I'm writing on each post, different beam size, what sizes I need, and then measuring them. And there's like, it took me probably 2 hours worth of going through and measuring on the job. And if I were to devote 2 hours to measuring that on the plans or trying to understand how everything's going to come together, it's just impossible to do. Like, there's no way you can do that. Even if you get paid for years of precon, there's so many odds and ends and variables that go into it that it's not a perfect science. And you're trying to create a budget that's realistic for meeting the client's expectations and needs. But there's no silver bullet. There's no like, I'm going to build this system and I'll be able to put jobs into it. Unless you do the same, you're a subcontractor or you build new homes where it's the same type of thing almost every time. It's really hard to automate and assess those. So it's like, you just have to build a budget out that is realistic. It shouldn't be inexpensive unless that's your client's program, but there's just no silver bullet to this. And at the end of the day, we're all just making shit up.